MLA document format requirements. MLA document format requirements is what you need to do to format your document stylistically, not document your sources. That's different. MLA has a format for just about everything, and this is what they require for your margin and your font style, font size, etc., etc. So let's get started. I have a document here that I'm going to show you as an example, and it is, just pretend like this is your essay and you finished writing it, and now you want to make it correct as far as the MLA document format goes. It's not that hard. Reference my Shanafelt writing guide and go to MLA and go to document format right here. Bam. Okay, great. Now here are an overview of the guidelines. It's going to be 8.5 by 11 inch paper, double space the entire paper, including the works cited page, no spaces after or before the paragraphs. The heading is in the upper left-hand corner with your name, your professor's name, that's me, and then the course, and then the date in a specific format, which we'll get to. And then you'll have Times New Roman is the font style, 12 point is the font size. You'll have a title on the top, not bolded, not italicized, and not Project 2. Give me an exciting title, a good title, something that catches my eye. Set the margins for 1 inch all the way around on all pages of your document. Make sure you don't skip an extra line between the title and the text or between any of the paragraphs. Make every single portion of your essay double space. That just means, double space means set the spacing to 2. Indent the first line of each paragraph, about a 1/2 inch. I'm not going to Nazi about that, but just usually if you'll just hit the tab button one time, it'll take you up to about 1/2 inch. Let's see, a header is in the upper right-hand corner. It has your last name and the page number behind it. That should appear on all pages, not just your first, or not just all the other pages, not including your first. There should be no footer. There should be no italics throughout the entire essay unless you're italicizing titles. No italics or bolding, actually, unless it has to do with MLA documentation. All right, great. So when you finally save your paper, make sure you save it as a PDF format, and that's for me. That's not in the document. That's not in the MLA format requirements, but that's for me as PDF. Okay, here is a handy-dandy little document that I've made for you that illustrates the whole process. All right. But I'm going to show you how to do it on Google Docs. So I have a document here ready to go, and you can see that it is not formatted properly at all. So let's start with the margins. They are supposed to be 1 inch, so I'm going to go to File, Page Setup, and then you want to make sure you apply this to the whole document and make all the margins 1 inch. Okay. And there you go. Okay. Now let's go with probably the most difficult thing for students. I'm going to highlight all. This is on a Mac, it's Command A. And I think on a PC it's Control A, but don't quote me on that. I'm a Mac person. But anyway, so here we go. I highlighted all of your text. Okay, that includes your works cited. That includes every single part of your essay. Highlight it all. And I'm going to go to this little button right here, which is the line spacing. See that? Click on that. Now, I don't care what you have going on your whole thing. Do it like this. Do it like this. Go to custom spacing. Go to back up to 2, and then 0 and 0, and apply. Okay, that's it. Now watch this. I'm going to undo what I just did. All right, now we're back to the previous spacing. Now watch this. If you do this, if you highlight all, and you go to the line spacing button and you just say double, then you still have these spaces right here. See the space from here to the next paragraph? you still have these spaces everywhere. Look at that. Got them everywhere. So you don't want that. You want no additional spaces between paragraphs. So what you can do is you could put your cursor right here, and you could go to the line spacing button, and you could say remove space after paragraph, or you could say remove space before paragraph, and then that makes it correct. However, if you highlight multiple paragraphs, watch this. If you highlight multiple paragraphs and then try to do it, it doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work. And it worked. In any event, sometimes when you do that, you just have the hardest time getting rid of those spaces. So no matter what it is, what it says, what it is, just highlight all, go to the line spacing button and choose custom spacing, and this will be sure to get the whole paper. Put 2, line spacing to 2, and 0 and 0. If there's already zeros there, type them again. I know that's crazy, but sometimes you've highlighted enough text to where there's multiple settings, and it just displays the first setting. So say 2, 0, 0, and apply, and you're there. Okay, good. That's the line spacing. Now your totally awesome title goes right at the beginning. No bolding, no italics in the title, unless you have the title of a book in your title. But other than that, no title, no italics, and no bolding, just regular. No space after here. In fact, you've got your spacing, your line spacing now. You don't want to mess with your line spacing. Okay. Okay, so now we have, this is the heading, this is the heading, and this is the header. Okay, we're working with the heading right now. Your name, Carlos Mendoza in this case, and then my name only. I don't need my first name. Just put Professor. Presumably, if it was a group project, you might have 2 names there, and that would be confusing if it wasn't Professor Shanafelt. So Carlos Mendoza, Professor Shanafelt. This is English 1302, RHE 306. You can even write Composition 1, Composition 2, whatever you want. And but it has to be the name of the course that you are in, which is in which this assignment was assigned. Okay, here's your date, but it's in the wrong format. If you look back here, the format is days first, the full month, and then the year. So let's change this to 20 August 2023. All right, great. Notice there's no commas between the day and the month. It's just 20 August 2023, and write out the entire month here. Don't abbreviate it. Excuse me, don't abbreviate it. Okay, now I just have some filler text here, but the next thing you're going to notice is this whole thing is in some other, it's an Arial. It's an Arial. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to highlight all again. We're going to go to Times New Roman. Click Times New Roman, and it's supposed to be not 11, not 10. It's all supposed to be 12-point font. The entire essay, not just the body, but the entire essay. Okay. So the next thing we do is we go to the header, and this is the header. And so you need to have your last name, Mendoza, but that's the complete wrong font, isn't it? So make sure you check that font right there. So go to Times New Roman, 12-point font. All right. But you also need a page number behind, just right behind there. Okay. So in this case, you go to Insert, Page Numbers, and then this one right here. Okay. Now make sure if it happens to be, if it happens to be aligned like left, or aligned center, or aligned to the right, make sure you change it to the right, because it needs to be right there. All right, let's see how we did. Okay, looks good. Oh, but look, Different first. Okay, so click on, to get into the header, you click up here. Oh, notice it says different first page there. You don't want that. You want the same on all of them. Okay, and here's some more options here. Header format. You can remove header, page numbers, etc. There's multiple ways to do all this stuff. All right, so now let's make sure that you didn't do this. This right here is your, they call it justification or alignment, either one. That's called fully justified right there, or aligned to both the left and right margins. You do not want that. You want left justification or aligned left. This way, it makes it look like there is a paper cutter straight line on the right margin, but what it does is it calculates, it adds up the length of the words in that line and calculates how big each of the spaces between the words needs to be in order to have that last word in exactly on that place. You do not want that. You don't want it. You do not want it. It's terribly difficult to read. Terribly difficult to read. So I'm going to highlight all of the text and I'm going to choose align left. See that? You want this jaggedy looking right margin over here. This is jagged. Make sure you don't have, back from the world of typewriters, they used to tell us to hit the space bar twice between sentences. Not the case anymore, just one space. Make sure you just have one space between sentences. No double spacing anywhere. And if you have that, it's easy just to go to find and replace and type in one or two spaces in the find and then one space here and replace all. Okay. All right, so now that we have that, we're in Times New Roman. We have left justification. The title is centered and there's no italics. We have your heading and your header are set up. Let's go to the very last line of your essay and give me the word count there. See that? In parentheses, just put open parentheses, word count, and then you can put your word count. Now, how do you view word count? Well, you can go up here and say count words, and it'll count them for you right there. Bam. You can even say display while typing. Now, the word count is just this portion here, just the actual body of the essay. And that is 666 words. See that down in the left-hand corner there? See that? 666 words. Your essay's got to be a lot longer than that, but let's just say 666. Well, that's a bad number, isn't it? Okay, so that's that. Now let's tackle the works cited page. All right, let's go down to the works cited page. First thing you notice is that it is on its own page. It should not be like this, like right under your last line. It should not be. It should be on the next page. So what you do is you go to Insert, Break, Page Break. Now you want to make sure there's no space between the top of the bottom of the header and the words works cited. So you want to make sure you get rid of any spaces that are there, like this. Delete those. Okay, great. And if you have more than one work, it's works cited. Multiple. All right, now the works cited page is same as the rest. It is double formatted in double spaced lines. So let's go custom and just make doggone sure. So let's type it again. Like I said, do it again. 2 and 0 and 0 and apply. However, on the works cited page, you want to do what's called a hanging indent or a reverse indent. And that is just, this up here is a regular indentation. It indents the first line of that paragraph and none of the subsequent lines. But in our case, on the works cited, you definitely want to do what's called a hanging indent or a reverse indent. So to do that, first of all, let me make sure my margins are correct here because it looks a little off. Page setup, Margins 1, yeah, 1 inch. All of them are 1. Okay, good. That's fine. All right, now, what happened here? Okay, so highlight all of your works cited entries. And you want to make sure your viewer, your toolbar is viewable up here. You go to view and you want to see show toolbar. It may be like this and you don't know where the toolbar is. You want to go view, show ruler, and show toolbar. I'm sorry, show ruler is what I'm saying. All right, now in this case you want to come up here to your little sliders. They probably have a much better word to be, but I call them little sliders for lack of a better word. Take it, the top one, notice that there's 2 of them. See the top one, that little line? That controls the first line of each paragraph. Okay, the bottom one controls all the subsequent lines. So in our case, what we want to do is we want to move it up about to here, and then move the top one back. See that? See how now it's reversed? It's a reverse indentation. Yeah, so that's it. This is that reverse indentation. And this is important. If you can, see how ugly this looks? Griswold, Eliza, da-da-da-da-da. If you can, I would like for you to make this URL flow to the next line without breaking the line. Now, in MLA, you do not want any active links like that. See that, how I could click on that link and go to it? In the year of 2023, they still don't want active links, but whatever. So what that makes it easier to make it flow to the next line, because it's darn near impossible unless you break this line. So what I would say is just go enter. Put a little space there. Don't do enter, put a little space there. Okay, so you have to kind of eyeball it, really. You kind of look at how long what the length between here and here is, and just kind of find an appropriate place and do a space. And you could even do better than that, huh? So maybe after here. Yeah, I mean, that would work for me, whatever. And so here we have, it's always going to want to make this an active link. So what you do is you right click and remove link. Now there you go. Let's try it on this. See, that's a pretty long way from there to there. So let's try here. I'm hitting the space bar. See that? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, now we're going to do remove link, and you can do that for all of the ones. Notice that all of your entries are, they are ordered by author, by the last name of the author, Alonzo, Bond, Everly. So you alphabetize your entries from top to bottom according to the author's last name. If you have 2 works from the same author, you put the first one in regular, you do all the regular MLA citation format rules, and then the next one you do these little three hyphens and a period, and then a space. And how do you choose which one is first? Well, you choose whichever of the 2 sources has the lower number of the alphabet. So you alphabetize them. So notice here it's after Kyoto, and then the next one is global warming economics. All right. If you do not have an author, you alphabetize by the first letter of the title. In this case, it's An Inconvenient Truth. Notice that I didn't alphabetize it under an. You skip a, and, the, and articles like that. This is under, you alphabetize it under inconvenience, so the I, Inconvenient Truth. All right. And I do believe that's about it. And then for Word, you want to, for this Microsoft, well, it's not Microsoft, I'm sorry, it's Google Docs. You can go here and say File, Download, and PDF. Boom. There you go.